He's been hit with so much controversy. People have been calling him xenophobic and racist because of the words he used in his rant. Let's read out what he said. Hey, it's David at Skinny Vegan Fitness, back with another video, back with another 5-Minute Friday. I hope you're ready for this week's 5-Minute Friday. 5-Minute Fridays is when we go through some of the most interesting news and different stories in the vegan and animal rights world of the last week. This week's one, we have around 6 or 7 stories. Some are real quick, some are a bit more interesting, some are very controversial. The most controversial one is actually going to be the last story, so make sure you stick around for that and don't go anywhere. Before we continue, please do 3 things for me. Like, comment, and subscribe. Really helps my channel, but it costs you nothing, so please do it. Let's put 5 minutes on the clock, and let's get on with this week's 5-Minute Friday. The first story we're going to talk about is about Tash Peterson, otherwise known as Vegan Booty. She has been on the channel before because she had a run-in with Isaac Butterfield and they had this big online feud, but that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about some of her activism. She actually did an event where she disrupted a football match. She got onto the field, onto the pitch, and ran across with a flag and was tackled by a player and removed. She had her court date and she actually left court playing sounds of pigs screaming and made her court date into a disruption. This is amazing. Go and read the story. The link's in the description. Go and check her out. Check out her Instagram, check out her YouTube. All the links are in the description. Can't be easy going to a court date and going to court over these things, but then to do activism whilst you're in court, I mean, that's next level activism and I love it. Our next story is about Ramadan and a vegan Muslim in England, I almost said India, in England, who is a vegan and is doing Ramadan vegan and is encouraging her family and friends to also do a vegan Ramadan or plant-based Ramadan. It was covered by the Metro, which is a news channel, newspaper, news magazine, whatever you want to call them in England. More of the mainstream media should cover this. Vegans, especially in India, have this idea that Muslims are not vegan and can never be vegan. We don't focus on the individuals, and I've met many individual Muslims who are vegan and even activists. I've met some great activists who are Muslim. They're not just one big group and they're all in the same boat. There are individuals within the religion that agree with animal rights and veganism. So link to that story is also in the description. Do check it out. Prince Harry has sold all of his rifles and quit hunting for his wife, and no one gives a shit. I included that just because I don't understand why that's news, but it keeps popping up in my news feeds. I could not give less of a shit what the royal family of England does. So that's a quick story. Next, Piers Morgan. Maybe you don't know who he is. If you don't know who he is, let me quickly explain. He's somebody who's quite popular in the UK for making very controversial remarks. He's been fired from certain newspapers and stuff for being a piece of shit, basically. He's been anti-vegan quite vocally, quite publicly anti-vegan. One of his most anti-vegan moments was around this vegan sausage roll that came from Greggs, plant-based sausage roll that came from a company called Greggs in the UK. He made a big deal about this. He was like eating it on TV and pretending to be sick and stuff like that, and it was just an absolute mess. He's actually spoken in an interview recently and showed regret for that whole situation, saying that he didn't think this would be the hill that he died on, it's like an analogy for, basically he didn't think that this is where his life would go. And he looked back and he said something like, it was nonsense, and he's not proud of it. It just goes to show when people are in the middle of all this media storm and making a name for themselves by being anti-vegan and stuff like that, maybe they're just getting caught up in the moment and they don't really believe all the things they're saying, and it's just all a bit silly because now he's looked back on it and he realizes, okay, that was a bit stupid. Keep that in mind. People say things they don't mean and they mean things that they don't say. Wrap your head around that one for a second. It's your job to pull out the things that they mean but don't say, and not just listen to the things that they say but don't mean. We're on to our 2 final stories now, and they're both celebrity stories. Yeah, we all love celebrities, right? But we especially love vegan celebrities. Fortunately, that's what they're both about, vegan celebrities. We've got one, I have to look to see because I don't know this person, but Edie Falco. So apparently she's been in the Sopranos series of the Sopranos. I don't know much about her, but I do know that recently she has said some pretty damn powerful stuff about the animals. She's an animal rights activist, she's a vegan, and she doesn't hold any punches. Let me just read out what she said. She's specifically speaking out against the New York governor's bailout of the dairy industry, $25 million bailout. How sick is that they did that? Her exact words about this were, why would the governor squander $25 million to bail out the dairy industry, which is rife with disease and cruelty? Not only is dairy not essential, factory farming, including dairy farming, is a breeding ground for disease. If the current pandemic has taught us anything, it's that raising and killing animals for food is a global health risk. The current crisis originated in a meat market. Swine flu and avian flu originated on factory farms in the United States. Sweet corn, New York State's proposed official vegetable, never sparked a pandemic. And she continues, cow's milk is often foisted upon school children, even though it's one of the primary causes of food allergies among kids, and millions of Americans are lactose intolerant, including many people of color. If we want to nourish New York and help the state's struggling dairy farmers, the governor can put $25 million to better use. Let's help dairy workers retrain for jobs, making the healthy plant-based milks that consumers actually want to buy, and increase the availability of nourishing vegan options in our schools and food banks. Bam. That's how you tell people how it is. I love that. For someone with such an influence, what an amazing thing to do. I said this in a few videos. I just really hope that more celebrities make more statements like this so people can get hit with that truth and not sugarcoated. She's not doing this to make fans. She's not going to get fans from this. Not really, not many, because the majority will not agree with it. It's brilliant that she puts that on the line and says, I don't give a shit if you're going to be my fan or not. I'm going to tell you how it is because I have a responsibility to speak the truth. Finally, the last story, it's about Bryan Adams. Bryan Adams is a vegan. He's a singer. I mean, I hope you know who he is. He's pretty famous. He's done like Cloud 9, I think it was his most famous one. Yeah, Summer of 69 was another one. That's his most famous one for sure. He posted a song with a vegan rant and he's been hit with so much controversy. People have been calling him xenophobic and racist because of the words he used in his rant. People are seeing it that it's anti-Chinese or that it's anti a certain part of the world. Let's read out what he said. Let's read out exactly what he said in this. Tonight was supposed to be the beginning of a tendency of gigs at the Royal Albert Hall, but thanks to some bat-eating, wet market animal selling, virus-making, greedy bastards, the whole world is now on hold. Not to mention the thousands that have suffered or died from this virus. My message to them, other than thanks a fucking lot, is go vegan. What do you think about that? Is that xenophobic? Is that racist? Or is that him just saying it how it is and, you know, laying down the facts? He did actually make an apology. I'm going to read out what his next post was in the apology and, you know, trying to deal with the controversy. You can see what you think of this too. Apologies to any and all that took offense to my posting yesterday. No excuse. I just wanted to have a rant about the horrible animal cruelty in these wet markets being the possible source of the virus and promote veganism. I have love for all people and my thoughts are with everyone dealing with this pandemic around the world. So that's his apology. What do you think about this whole situation? I think he could have chosen his words much better. How is it going to be effective? What is the impact of that post? Who's going to benefit from it? I don't really see anyone benefiting from it. I don't see what the point is. If anything, I would point the finger at everyone who is currently contributing directly to animal exploitation, wherever they're from in the world. He would have done a much better job by aiming his post at everyone that would see his post, which is, I'm going to guess the majority is going to be in the West. If you're going to tell people of fucking greedy bastards, then tell the people that are going to see the post, right? The ones that are still contributing to this right now. Every time they go to the supermarket, they're buying more animal products. Why don't you aim it at them? I don't know. That's what I think about it. Does he deserve the shit he's getting? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments what you think about this whole situation and get into a little bit of a chat about it. So that brings me to the end of this week's 5-Minute Friday. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere yet. There's something I really need you to do. Please like, comment, and subscribe on the video. Do those 3 things for me before you leave. It really, really helps. Then you get future videos straight to your homepage and you don't just leave it to the YouTube algorithm to make that decision for you. Take your life into your own hands. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.